Hey there, Keitaro. So I'm just going to jump straight in and start correcting, because you're already familiar with the format of the essay corrections. So with this one, describing this bar chart, there's an opportunity here to discuss trends, so changes over time. This is a discussion of trends is a sign of a Band 8 response. So things such as the consumption of vegetables decreases with age. The consumption of dairy decreases with age. Discussions of trends, changes over time. This is what we should be aiming for in our Task 1 responses. So the bar chart illustrates differences in calorie source. I would say calorie sources. There's more than one. For UK males, by comparing 3 categories of ages. By UK males of 3 different age groups. And here you can use namely, and don't change the way that you write numbers. Make sure you're consistent all the way through. Namely 0 to 24 years old, 25 to 49 years old, and over 50 years old. Let's make sure that the definition and the general statement are separated. According to the data, it can be briefly observed that any category takes more calories from a particular type of food than others. However, there are various differences by generation to generation. We don't need that. There are various differences generation to generation. That's good. Firstly, what we should just say is the food comprising, to make up, the food comprising the highest percentage of total calorie intake varies depending on age. For men between 0 and 24 years old, the most popular calorie source is dairy, while the highest one is meat for those who are 25 to 49 years old. However, for people over 50, pulses are the most popular calorie source. Fine. Also, dependency on one particular food type increases in proportion with age. Which one though? I can't see any food type that increases with age. There's the 2 that decrease with age. For people between 0 and 24 years old, more than 40% of total caloric intake. This should be caloric intake. Oh no, if you're saying calories were taken from dairy products, but if we're describing calorie intake itself, it's caloric intake. More than 40% of total calories were taken from dairy products, whereas people between 25 and 49 years old rely on meat for 50% of total, caloric intake. Furthermore, the percentage of pulses accounting for the total caloric intake exceeds 60% for those over 50 years old. Cool. The only statement I have a problem with is this one. I can't see any particular food group that increases with age. So take care. I would have used this sentence here to discuss trends such as the consumption of dairy and vegetables decreases with age. I've just noticed that you have another paragraph here. Finally, the percentage of vegetables. The percentage is always below 20%, and the numbers are lesser in older generations by almost 5% each, marking at 20% for 0 to 24-year-olds, 15% for 25 to 40-year-olds, and 10% for those over 50 years old. So, copyright law. Does it limit creativity or reward it? Would society function better without such rules and regulations? So how to make a better society with well-balanced rules is a very complicated problem, and the purpose of copyright laws is becoming questioned these days. I would say maybe it is increasingly questioned. It would sound more natural. In my opinion, copyright laws play an important role We play roles in things. Play an important role in boosting people's creativity. However, there should be some exceptions. Maybe regarding there should be some exceptions regarding protection of copyrighted works under the law to guarantee freedom of speech, just like that. Okay, so you do agree that it boosts people's creativity. I would make it more clear whether you think that copyright law boosts or limits, makes society better or worse. Firstly, protections under copyright law give incentives to authors and encourage them to produce more creative works in the future. Good. Without such protection, our society would be full of imitations or pirated versions of the originals, and the creators would lose their passion for future works. We should use, especially nowadays, entertainment industries spend a large amount of money, huge is an informal American term, large amounts of money to create attractive content, and it is essential for them to have the works legally protected in order for them to gain returns on the investments. For example, according to a recent survey conducted by UCLA, approximately 80% of Hollywood films have a budget of more than $5 million US, and most of the funds are collected from institutional investors. Cool, that's a really good collocation to be using, really fancy. If movies were not properly protected under copyright law, take that one away, they would not invest such a large quantity of money in film projects, because the return would be easily reduced by illegal copies. However, it does not necessarily mean that the rules and regulations under copyright laws should be respected at any time without exceptions. Ooh, I smell a rebel. For the purpose of freedom of speech... Oh, nope. I can't work it anymore. Which is guaranteed by the Constitution. Of which country? Are we writing this from the US? Because this is not country specific. There should be some situations in which the originals can be copied or used without the original author's permission. For instance, when the originals are used for creating a parody or criticism. Good, nice example. There are also other forms of art, and they should be respected as well as parodies. They should be respected as well, as parodies and reviews are vital to our society, and they should not be treated as an illegal copy even if they contain a part of the original content. To conclude, I strongly believe that copyright laws are fundamental to enrich our culture. However, they are not a perfect tool for creating a more sophisticated world. That's a great response, but we need to be clearer on this. I see your view, but you need to conclude your view. Society would function better without such rules, or society would not function better without such rules. I need to see that a lot more clearly. But overall, I'm very impressed with this answer. It's full of really good collocations. It's really well put together. It's relevant. So don't worry about writing too much. As long as it is relevant and you achieve it in the correct time frame. If you find yourself writing too much, but you're just sticking extra bits on the end for no reason, that's a problem. But your writing is relevant. It's all on point. So don't worry too much about that. If you have a lot to say, just make sure that it is precise and appropriate. But I'll send these over to you now. I'm really looking forward to your next pieces. Have a great day. I'll speak to you soon.